Hello, welcome back. My name is Sybonn, and today we're going to be combining the Queen Slime with the Shimmer in the Aether Biome and properly creating a really dangerous biome combination, to be honest with you, but I'll show you that later. So I've wanted to do the boss theme house build of the Queen Slime for a long time, and I couldn't think of the best way of doing it. And now the 1.4.4 update, the Labour of Love, has finally been released with so many special updates, and I'm really excited with all of them. But the one that really inspired me was the Shimmer, so here we are. So to find an Aether Biome, you have to just off the ocean on one side of your world, and it's around about the cavern layer, so you have to hunt around a bit, but it's a huge mass of stone, and it's got a massive lake of Shimmer in the center. You can't miss it, but for my build, I wanted that lake out of there, so I pumped it all out so I could start the build. Before we do the time lapse of the build, I'm going to go through all the blocks, how to get them, and some little quirky things of the Shimmer. So I only used a few blocks in this build, and I used the new Ethereum block, which I'll show you how to get that, but I used stone block, I used mud block painted white, which fit really well with the stone block, and you'll see when it gets all dark, it kind of fits in very well, and crystal block because it takes on paint very well, and it does look really cool with a kind of a glass look about it. I also used bubble, which I will come back to that in just a bit, but the Ethereum block really takes over, and it's such a nice block. It really fits in well. It kind of merges with some of the other blocks as well, because you'll notice in terms of the stone, it works really well with that, and it also glows, which is a great addition, especially when you put it with crystal. The Ethereum block also has this sparkly effect to it when you walk over it, which I love. So here is the Shimmer, if you hadn't noticed already, but it has this absolutely amazing effect of like a rainbow sparkle on the top, and then in the deeper sections it also has another sparkle effect as well, and it kind of makes you phase through the world until you come to another bit, but it also gives you immunity, which is a strange property. And the only way to stop you from phasing through any of the Shimmer is there's a chromatic cloak, and I really advise you to use that when you're building, because the last thing you want to do is just start phasing through the earth while you're building. Now you may be wondering how to get this Ethereum block. Now to get it, you put water combined with the Shimmer. Just when you combine the Shimmer with another liquid, it creates this Ethereum block. So the reason for the bubble block is it keeps the water and the Shimmer separate from each other so they don't create ether blocks. And then when you use the new echo coating, you can't even see the bubble. So look out for that later in the build. So that's the main things to know when you're building with the Shimmer. Now let's get back to the time lapse. So next I wanted to get the overall shape and size of the Queen Slime, so I knew what I was working with, and then build the cave up around the Queen Slime whilst still keeping the overall vibe of the starting Aether Biome. Now I kind of wanted to create a bit more depth to it and a kind of a spikier feel to it, but you'll see where I'm going with that, because I wanted it to seem like crystals were growing out of the walls. Now using the Ethereum block, like veins of crystal coming through the stone, I thought would create a nice glow and feel to the build. Now I start on the main part of the build, which is the Queen Slime. I thought it would be best to start off with the crown. I actually used the new Heavenforge block for the metallic side of the crown. I think it gave off a nice effect and texture. And then Gemspark for the jewels. And I wanted to make a really sparkly center crystal for the Queen Slime, so I used that with crystal and painted it different colors, and then surrounded it with crystal shard and a bit of Ethereum block as well to create a bit more glow. It sort of gives a shine to it. And to finish it off, we filled it with water, and then used the echo coating on the bubble block to make it disappear, and then having some halo fountains out of sight makes the water have that sort of pinky purple tinge, so it has a gradient from the blue all the way through to the pink. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. And just before I show you around the completed build, I finally added the mud block painted white, which just broke up the stone so there wasn't too much of it, and then using some unpainted mud with some jungle seeds created some overgrown foliage. But now let's check out the build. So here we are, the completed build. I hope you guys like it, and if you do, then please leave a like and consider subscribing if you wanted to see more. Going around this build, as you can see now, it's got the full Aetherium biome background. You can see all the overgrown areas, and I really like how it's come out. So, like I said, what I wanted to do is have all the stone sort of stalactite kind of growing this crystal coming out of the walls. And on some of these little platforms, you can see I've made the shimmer kind of waterfall out from the walls, and it kind of pulls up and then creates another bigger waterfall to go down onto the queen slime. When we go over to the queen slime, when I put the spectacles on, you can see all the bubble surrounding and where it's actually keeping the water contained. And you can also see where I've used the echo coating on some gemspark wall, which just adds a bit more glow because the hallowed fountain makes everything kind of a pinky tinge. But when you put the gemspark on there, it just creates a bit more of the pink. And then I've used it in the center as well, just to make that a little bit more glow to create a better effect. So a cool feature about this queen slime is you could just jump in and swim across over to the other side. And over here you can see a little tree and more overgrown elements. I tried to make it look as natural as I possibly could for the Aether Biome, and you can see I've used the magma wall painted violet just to make it look like shimmer is pouring from the walls. And now you can see the shimmer pool in all its glory, and I've used some walls to make it look like there's stalactites in the background as well as the foreground, and then you've got little pools of shimmer just to break up some of the dark empty areas. And over here I've just put a sort of a burst of Aetherium, which kind of gives you a bit of an idea where all the crystal veins are coming from. And if you remember, I said this is kind of a really dangerous biome that I've created because I've got a mixture of jungle, hallow, cavern, and hallow cavern, and its nightmare combination. So I thought I'd show you on the map completely zoomed out so you can see the whole thing, and also as a screenshot, because I do try and make these builds so they look good as a screenshot so you guys can see it as a full composition. So hopefully you guys liked this build, and if you did, then please leave a comment of what you think is the best bits, and if you have any questions about it, then please let me know. I'll be happy to answer any questions. So I'm looking forward to doing more builds, so if you have any suggestions, then please let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, bye.